Hello and welcome to the presentation on the uprising of the Kazakhs led by Sultan Kenesary. Firstly, I want briefly introduce about the Kazakh people and their history. The Kazakh people are a Turkic ethnic group residing mainly in Kazakhstan, but also in other Central Asian countries and parts of Russia. The history of the Kazakh people dates back to the 15th century when they formed a confederation of nomadic tribes in the region. Over time, the Kazakh Khanate emerged as a dominant force in the area, ruling over much of present-day Kazakhstan, as well as parts of Russia and China.
The Kazakh people have a rich history shaped by their nomadic way of life, traditional customs, and the influences of various empires and the civilization that they encountered over the history. Today, the Kazakh people are known by the warm hospitality, lawful horses, and traditional nomadic culture, as well as the modern achievements in science, sports, and arts.
Sultan Kenesary was born in 1802 in the village of Kusmuran, in what is now Kazakhstan. He was born into a family of wealthy Kazakh nobles and was raised with a strong sense of Kazakh identity and pride.
In 1831, the 19-year-old Kenesary becomes the contemptible of Khan's title, but a year later, Emperor Alexander I stating that Khan's power will be decreasing and replaced by a new form of government. Then Kenesary's father, Sultan, desires to go the length of Köken Khanel to find the allies and fight to the empire.
In 1825, the uprising against the government was led by Kenesary's brother, Sultan.
In 1836, the Kenesary's brother, Sultan died at the hands of the Kokon people. Later, Sultan also died in Tashkent. After their death, an alliance with the Kokon becomes impossible, and Kenesary is looking for associates in the person of Bukhara Khan, Kyrgyz, and all the neighbors. In 1837, the Russian Empire is going to build fortresses in Kokshetau and Akhmula to establish Kazakh villages there. This was the reason for the uprising of Kenesary detachment. Kenesary detachment attacked fortress and the construction and caravans passing through the steppe. It becomes more difficult to stop the uprising. Kenesary courage attacked more and more supporters. The people support him. In September 1831, despite the prohibitions, he was proclaimed head of the three Juses. Having become a recognized leader, he takes a course for full independence and introduces reforms. Now, no one robber trade caravans, they are taxed. The army was divided into hundreds and thousands. Military training was conducted.
The peak in the Kenesary uprising occurred in 1844 and 45. In the spring of 44, the empire of the New falls on the steppe. The operation was commanded by Major General Remchuzhnikov. He said that it was necessary to exterminate the robber Kenesary. Then the Kazakh Khan withdrew his determination and retained the combat capability of the horde. But the situation was difficult. The economy was undermined by the Kazakhs supporting Kenesary lost their lands, and the army was tired of constant fighting. Not wanting to fight with the Kyrgyz, he requested China's consent to nomad in its eastern borders. He headed deep into Chinese territory. The Khan sent envoys with a request for permissions to roam on his lands, but the China Empire refused. The Chinese government was afraid of a strong and militant Khan who enjoyed considerable influence among Chinese Kazakhs at that time. China was greatly concerned about the performances of Uyghurs and Dingans, who professed the same faith with the Kazakhs. Kenesary could become the leader who would raise a million-strong army of Turks for China. It was a dangerous Khan. Returning Kenesary began to negotiate with the Kyrgyz Manavs, who promised to support him, but despite this they killed Saurikh Batur. In response to their actions, in 1847, Kenesary with 15,000 army entered to the borders of the Kyrgyz, who were already ready for war with him. Not far from Takmak in Deep Gorge, the Kazakhs were trapped there, and the battle with the Kyrgyz Manabs led by Armon Khan began. But during the battle, Sultans Rustem and Sapatay betrayed Kenesary and took away a significant part of the army. The battle lasted until April 25. Kenesary's brother Nauruzbay and his 2 sons and 15 sultans were killed. Kenesary Khan was captured. 3 months later, the Kyrgyz decided to execute him. Before that, Kenesary offered the Kyrgyz to stop the enmity and jointly oppose Kokon, but the offer was rejected. The head of Kenesary Khan was handed over by the Kyrgyz Manab Armon Khan, with a letter sealed with wax as a gift to the Governor-General of Western Siberia Gorchakov, as a sign of loyalty of the Kyrgyz to the Russian Empire. It was one of the last powerful battles of the Kazakhs against the Tsarist government, in which representatives of the Free Jewess participated. The suppression of the uprising opened the way for the Russian Empire to conquer the Kyrgyz lands of the territories of Semirechye and southern Kazakhstan, Bukhara, Kokand and Khiva. Kenesary Khan warned each Khan personally that if they didn't unite with him, then their land would be captured. No one believed him, but they were all conquered. Any story is a lesson, but Kenesary Khan is the best lesson for all Turkic peoples.